Let's get talking now. Nigeria's oil windfall sparked by Russia's invasion of Ukraine should give the economy a much-needed boost as it recovers from the pandemic, according to analysts. Well, let's take a look at the crude oil prices. Of course, reports says crude prices have reached 8-year highs during the first quarter of 2022, with the average monthly price rising from $74 in December 2021 to $97 in February 2020, touching 116 US dollars a barrel during March last year as the war intensified. But the gains of this windfall are being undermined by several factors. One is below par oil production levels at about 1.2 million barrels per day before jumping to 1.6 million. Now, per quota of 1.8 million per day, perhaps it's going to be a challenge to meet. So let's get talking now as we look at how the Nigerian government can take advantage of this particular development as the current value hit around 7 billion US dollars. Let's bring in our guest now. Nelson Ekujome is policy and public affairs analyst. He joins us virtually now. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. If you look at the current value of the global oil market, it's around 7 billion since the start of the year. So between last year and this year, we'll be seeing some volatility, but there's a bit of stability, especially since the OPEC Plus cut further cut the production output by another 1.6 million barrels per day. So talk to us. What does this mean for Nigeria, and how can Nigeria take advantage of the current rise in the global oil market value to boost its revenue?
Well, thank you very much. It's unfortunate that what is supposed to be a blessing for us has turned the other way. I don't want to mention it. You expect that in a situation like this, Nigeria should have been one of the greatest beneficiary, who have an oil boom, a windfall, if I may use that word. But unfortunately, due to the fact that our productive capacity, has been hampered greatly by vandalism, oil thefts, as well as a lack of accurate data of what we produce. So we are at the mercy of whatever we're able to, put out there in the world market for exports. So it's sad that we are not taking full advantage of what the Russia-Ukraine war has brought about. That has led to the volatility in the oil market. Since the crisis broke out, and its aftermath. Rather, Asia. That's talking about Russia, China, and India have been beneficiaries through Russia, and the European countries have now, reordered their markets because of the crisis in Russia and Ukraine, and other OPEC countries are, the beneficiaries as we speak. So it's unfortunate that we are in this position, but we hope that we are putting on our thinking caps and looking at how we can, prevent the occurrence of this unfortunate happenings with regards to our oil industry, even though we recognize that a lot of efforts have been made to position the industry, but those teething problems still occur. You talk about the issue of oil theft. It has been, we have never had it this bad, but the government is trying its possible best. Then we want hopes that the government's interface with the host communities will go a long way in addressing the issue of oil theft like they are doing now. Okay. And the non-functionality of our refineries is also a big problem that the non-availability of accurate data. Refineries for refining crude oil, the production of our crude oil. How do we ensure that we get an accurate data of what we actually produce, so that it is not lost to oil theft.
But do you think these challenges are insurmountable? The crude oil theft that you talked about, and of course the issue of insecurity that you talked about around the Niger Delta area. So do you think these challenges are insurmountable for the Nigerian government?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We need to deploy more of technology than the human intervention. And we need to recognize that the people themselves need to be our security as much as we are using technology. We shouldn't rely solely on the security agencies using, outdated methods of manual policing or monitoring of oil pipelines and what have you. We need to involve the communities and deploy more of technology, and we get this problem solved. Because if you look at the world global oil industry, we're about the only country, that is, having this problem. So what we are going through in Nigeria is not something that is not alien to other countries. They must have adopted some other measures, because human beings are the same. They must have adopted some other measures that has made them nip in the bud those problems, those crises, or those problems we are facing now. So we need to, up our ante and learn from other climes. How did you, curb this ill? Because the level of oil theft in Nigeria today, if you have a similar, situation in other countries, you also have oil theft. So, but we need to ask, we need to interface with other oil producing countries. That how were you able to solve this problem? What are those things you did that this never became a problem? Maybe you didn't have it before, or maybe you had it and this was how you went about it. So we need to, interface with experts, interface with countries, interface with agencies, and learn from them how they resolve problems that might have been similar to what we are currently facing, because this problem has been with us for a long time, and if we don't address it holistically, it will continue to linger.
So China is perhaps the second largest or the largest crude oil importer, but by data is the second largest crude oil importer globally, and so we have relationship with China. How do you think we can harness this market to ensure that we boost our revenue, and so as to be able to develop other markets as well?
Well, you can only boost your revenue if you are producing. You cannot boost your revenue by word of mouth. If a market requires, say, 5 liters of oil, and people are looking for those that can meet up to that quota, and you're unable to, there are so many other competitors who will take advantage of that, who are more efficient and effective with regards to production to meet market demands. So it behoves on us as a country that, look, the world of business, there's nothing like a relationship based on maybe we have come a long way together. It's about business, it's about economy, it's about livelihoods. If people only do business with those that will further their economic interests, that will make them, prosper. I won't say because you are my friend or you are my neighboring country, I need to sustain my economy. You are not forthcoming with it, and I see another market that is open, that is as competitive as yours, and I will say, let me continue open on you. Economically, that is not done anywhere in the world. So it is for us as a people to do the right thing, and we'll take our rightful place, whether with China or in the global oil markets.
Okay. And now, just before I allow you to go, you talk about the issue of collaborations, and of course you also talk about how we can talk to experts as well. So what kind of strategies do you think we need to put in place? Because if we are talking about collaboration and talking to other experts, there are things we need to put on ground before they can come. Remember, we have the PIA on ground, which have not fully been implemented or harnessed or optimized, as the case may be, and that again has become a challenge. So What do you need to do you think the country needs to do to start attracting, this collaboration, so that we can, make the most of it?
Well, what we need to do is first and foremost to put our house in order. We have enough, resources and materials with regards to our oil industry, and we have oil experts in Nigeria who are of global standards. It is for us to, assemble these eggheads to look at our enabling laws.
Hello, Mr. Ekojumi. Just having issues with, hearing Mr. Ekojumi there. But also, in addition to that question, I also want you to talk to us about the role that foreign investment, the foreign investors can play here. So what role can they play in helping Nigeria develop its oil industry and take advantage of the opportunities in the global market? Of course, we talk about collaborations, and so maybe you need to chip in. I need to chip in that so that you can also address this together. So there are roles they can play, isn't it? Are you there, Mr. Ekojumi?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
I can hear you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, what I was saying is that Nigeria has enough materials and resources, to address its internal problems with regards to the oil industry. We have experts that are of global standards. We have experts that are of global standing who have worked even outside the shores of Nigeria with international organizations. It is for us to put on our thinking caps, bring up these experts, bring them together to look at our oil industry and look at our Petroleum Industry Act. How has it addressed those teething problems that are, driven away, foreign direct investment in that industry? When you talk about, foreign direct investment, nobody will come and invest his or her money in an environment that is not sure of the returns. In an environment in which your investments will go down the drain. Any person, even Nigerians, are investing outside the shores of this country. And you and I know the purpose of investment. The purpose of investment is to make profits, is to make returns. I, Nelson Ekujimi, who is speaking to you, it will be foolhardy of me or of you to think of me investing my money where my money will go down the drain. I don't run a charity organization as I speak to you. If I'm investing in any business, I want to get returns. So it is for us to do the needful internally. Then we can now look at, global best practices and see how we can key in. Nigeria is a member of so many international organizations, and there are lots of collaborations that we can benefit from as members of these organizations. So it is for us to, to tidy up our acts at home. Then when we tidy up our acts at home, we'll be taken serious. In fact, when we tidy up our acts at home in line with global best practices, we will become the beautiful bride that will be most sought after by investors. That is the situation.
Okay, this administration, this is the final question for you. This administration has less than 2 months. Let's say less than 5 weeks to go. So talk to us about this particular, what do you think they can do in this regard before they finally, wind up the administration by May 29?
What the present government can do is to...
Hello, Mr. Ekojumi. Well, I wanted to get his thoughts there. What this current administration can do before the handover on May 29. Perhaps it's not too late to make a change. Perhaps it's not also too late to also, put their name in the history book of Nigeria. I mean, the history book, the good side of history in Nigeria. So talk to us, Ekojumi, before wrap up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay, what the government can do is to, because the government has a mandate till May 29.
That's right.
And one expects that the government will key into that oath to govern for the good and, the better Nigerian, till it exits office. So one expects that even though it has less than about 5 weeks to wind down its tenure, that those measures it has put in place to address these problems, the exiting government will continue to, follow that path, diligently so that the government that is coming on board will have something to build on, or to chart a new path after x-raying what is on ground.
Okay. Well, I think we'll just have to leave it there. Thank you so much. Nelson Kojomi is a policy and public affairs analyst. We appreciate you for coming on board.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
If you're watching Business Breakfast, we're broadcasting live from our studio. So still to come after the break. Brent crude was trading at $77.94 a barrel, up 25 cents. That's about 0.3% in early trade. All right, so we'll bring you details in a moment. Please stay with us.